The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of Power Trading Hour. I don't know what else you can say. Just another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour. The S&P 500 is up 5.5. The Dow's up 161. Nasdaq's off 7, and the Russell's off 10. As always, we'd like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So it's another day, fairly decent volume in the market, pressing 4.2 billion shares. So we're getting back into the fall volume. We're knee deep in fund buying. Had a little taste of it at the close yesterday. Starting to see a little bit more of it today. A lot of rotation out of small caps into mid caps, and a handful of leaders of the usual suspects in the big cap tech area. And that's kind of it. Kind of very interesting. But again, these are the days that you want to look at something called VWAP. If you're a broker that deals with a big fund, they'll say, hey, I want you to buy 1 million Apple or 1 million Intel or 1 million something. And you start buying 1 million shares of anything, you can put the price up fairly quickly. So what they do is this thing called VWAP, which is kind of the average volume weighted price for the day. And if you get that, then you're kind of a hero. If you get better than that, you're a really big hero. If you get less than that, they think you're stiffing them. And so there's kind of this average VWAP prices. It's not uncommon for big brokers that are buying shares like this time to hammer some of the stocks early in the morning so that they can kind of come back and buy them later in the day and look like heroes, because it's all about that VWAP. If you want a link to the articles on what VWAP is, just send me one at path@tfnn.com. And of course, as always, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Again, we'll see what happens out here by the close. Early parts of the day are not that important during fund buying. It is that close because, of course, there's a lot of market on close orders by the end of the day, and those things tend to settle out. I've been looking for today for the S&P to go up and test 2941. I believe we're going to do that either today or tomorrow, and then the volume on that is going to tell us as we break new highs what's going to happen in the near future. I've seen more articles about the end of the world in the last 4 or 5 days from the Hindenburg omen. People that listen to this show a long time, back in 2012, will remember that I actually did interview the guy that was the Hindenburg omen guy, and he was blind and said that he really didn't look at charts much. But somewhere along the line, he put that headline in there about the Hindenburg omen. I tracked it, and over, I'm going to say 15 times, it never paid off. He actually admitted that he kind of had seen this pattern developing in the late 2000s. It hit a couple of times, and then it never hit again. And he said, it's kind of like the whole butterfly deal with a butterfly flaps its wings down in South America. We get a hurricane or a tornado up here in North America. The butterfly effect was never called that by the guy that did it. He wrote a paper, and somewhere in there, he kind of inferred that small changes in weather in South America could have a problem or an effect in North America. So the promoter of the event changed his title of his article to the butterfly effect, and it got more traction than the guy, even the promoter, ever wanted, because of course the guy that wrote the paper was mad at him forever, because now he's the guy known as the butterfly effect. But the same kind of thing. It hit a couple of times, and then that was it. But I've read an article that says that everything's worse than 1920s, that we're destined to fall. The S&P is going to fall in half. And normally when I see those articles, I decide that it's probably the best thing to do just the opposite, which is try to buy while everybody is crying. If the market was going down and they were saying that, I may not pay as much attention. But at market highs, everybody's always screaming for the end of the world. And I'd like to see some really big signals of that, and I just haven't seen them. I'm not saying that we go to the highs, 3,500 next week on the S&P cash. I do think, though, that way too many people, I mean massive amounts of people, are getting short this market, and it isn't at least the indexes aren't going down that much. Nasdaq's down 10 points. The Russell's the weakest of the bunch with these small caps. Everybody's a little nervous out here. But 2930s, where we've kind of been hovering around here today, I would not be surprised to see a run 11 points higher. And there we're probably going to get the signal about whether or not we're going to go higher this week. I would not be surprised, with the massive amount of shorting going on in the market, that if we do go higher, that we could have a squeeze of biblical proportions before the end of the week. There's a lot of small stocks that have been kind of hammered on earnings, so I can understand that. And maybe you're a little nervous about being long. Everybody is throwing the baby out with the bathwater in a lot of stocks today that I can't see a lot of reasons for. Nothing's going to change in the stocks that I'm looking at in the near future. But, that's it. Everybody's just nervous. We're at highs. Everybody's predicting the end of the world. Normally when the markets flip, I don't hear anything. I actually hear euphoria. I hear it's different this time. I hear a lot of different things. And to me, going higher, maybe to 3,000 on the S&P cash, maybe in like a couple of days, where we really just rock it up. And then everybody decides they can't short anymore, and everybody gets euphoric. That's the time that I probably would think more about being short this market. And I think that there's a good enough possibility we do that I'm pretty much long. In the short term, I'm certainly wrong in the positions I've got. So we'll look at those later throughout the show. But you can give me a call at 877-927-6648.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. Monday, September 24th, TFNN is launching a new updated version of our website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, and starting Monday, you'll be able to experience the new and improved TFNN website. If you're a current subscriber, don't worry, your subscription will be automatically transferred. The new TFNN.com will allow much easier access to all your account and subscription information. Get ready for the new TFNN.com, educating investors. Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And we're still out here. S&P's up almost 6 points. Dow's up 168. NASDAQ's off 9, and the Russell's still holding around minus 10 3/4. And of course, let's do a little history out here, and then we'll get started.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On today, in 1985, actor Rock Hudson, 59, becomes the first major celebrity to die of complications from AIDS. Hudson's death raised public awareness of the epidemic, which until that time had been ignored by many in the mainstream. Actually, AIDS had a big part in my life in the fact that I was up till about this time, 85, 86. I think it was 86. Usually in computers, but not into video or special effects or anything, although I'd gone to many of the conventions and looked at it and kind of played with it, knew a little bit about it. But in the company I was working in, the video department was run by a guy who was gay, and he hired all his gay friends or people he met into, and no big problem, except they all got sick. And within about a year, they all died. There was nobody that knew anything about video. I got tossed into a cauldron of basically filling the holes for what this disease had wrought. My life would probably be very different. I probably would have been in computers and maybe into some kind of software thing instead of getting into hardware for television in Hollywood for special effects. But my learning over the next almost 2.5, 3 years got me recognized by people in the industry, and they asked me to come to work for them and help them build new products in the future. And I probably wouldn't have thought of it. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. But you always wonder about how things that happen in life and even in the world kind of gently nudge you into what you're going to be. I had no thoughts about getting into that. But again, being in a position, I won't say it the right position, but being in a position, this was kind of a big change for me. And I'll always remember this time because of how quickly I got thrown in the grease of being able to edit videos, actually videotape operations at a teaching medical college, all the things these other guys used to do. I got tossed in the bucket with it. So it was a time when I pretty much was working 18 hours a day trying to figure out how everything worked. I guess computer is probably a good business to be in if you have to figure everything out on your own. Documentation in the mid 80s, not always the best, but worked out a great deal of the stuff that I was in, and that went. But I'll always remember those guys. They were a great bunch of guys in the video department, and it built up a fairly decent business. But you know what? It just, that's the way it was. I'll think about that time. I do remember it. Did you compete against the Avid technology people back then? Polar. No. My first product actually was a thing called time-based corrector. If you want to mix video on two different tape decks, because of the way that the tape goes by the tape heads, it stretches, speed changes. You need to actually grab and digitize that each frame and correct all those errors and then put them back out. But not only that, you have to sync one video feed with another. So there has to be kind of a common clock between the two of them. From there, that was a big success. We made a lot of money on it. But the one that really made us was a digital video card that actually would record video onto a hard drive in real time. The one that was available at the time was about $50,000 and saved about a minute, maybe 30 seconds worth of video. It was all uncompressed video, but it was, 50 grand to start, actually. I kind of had this idea about how to build one and not use the bus of the computer. So we built a card which was actually a half a video and half a hard drive controller. So we could just control it with a computer, but not have to actually have the data go through the bus. Computers at that time weren't anywhere close to fast enough for bus speeds to actually route the video through the bus. So it kind of just gave a home to it. We didn't have to put expensive power supplies, a lot of other stuff. And my part, I guess, in it was kind of the initial thought about how it was going to be designed. We had a great engineer, a guy about 180, 185 IQ, always made me feel kind of stupid. This guy was great in the design of the actual hardware. He'd been doing this kind of stuff for 10 years already, and would literally design something in a year that would take 10 other guys together the same year to do, and it wouldn't be, the 10 guys wouldn't be as good as this one guy. So we had kind of a Beatles thing there. I kind of said how I wanted the thing designed, did some work, organized the software, that kind of stuff. And that was our big claim to fame, because I think the thing cost about $150 to build, and we were selling them for $1,000. It was not quite the kind of margins you make on software, but it was damn close. And then we made a lot of other products like that. But that product was sold to animators, and a lot of people that did special effects in Hollywood needed digital video at the time. And, we were it. If you could afford, and with hard drives, maybe $2,000 or $3,000 instead of the $50,000. And that's kind of my claim to fame. Anyway, that's what won the Emmy for Best Technical Achievement in Video. That's pretty much it. Hopefully that answers it all. The headquarters was in Toronto, Ontario. We were a division of Scientific Atlanta that got spun off. They were just going to close it. All the employees ended up buying it. There's about maybe 10 or 12 of them. They got together with me and another gentleman in Cincinnati, Ohio. And we were the kind of the sweat equity partners. Those guys had some cash left over from another business that they were in. So we'd fly up every 2 weeks pretty much to Toronto for meetings, but I would handle everything in the United States for the computer part of the business. We also had a more traditional black box business for cable and other traditional television business. Anyway, enough about me. I never talk about me, by the way. We're only going to break. We come back. We got a lot of charts to look at out here. Give me a call at 877-927-6648.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary power law vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of The Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're just kind of hanging out here, waiting for that wonderful cash to rain from the sky coming into the close, so we'll keep an eye on it. The small caps continuing to look a bit weak. So we'll keep an eye on this till the end of the day. Dow's still up 167. Let's get into some charts here. And let's see what else. I had a lot of new stocks I wanted to get to today. As we said, a lot of these stocks in the that aren't the headliners are out here coming back down with fairly lighter volume and actually going at testing or going below those numbers on lighter volume. August 15th, we spiked down in Zuli. XNET is the symbol for this one, Chinese stock. It's breaking down today. It's got 500,000 shares, but that's still a far shot from the 2.1 million shares of August 15th. It is not looking like it's going to close back into the trading range. Another one is these home builders look like they've come back down. Now you got a kind of a nice little tombstone doji forming out here today. The low on this was May 16th at 38.48 with 3 million shares. Got into it with 2 million shares yesterday, actually about 1.9. Today we got about 1.5. But these did bounce with some gusto off that May 16th low into the June 13th high and been coming back with a lighter volume since then. I don't know if I'd be hopping on these to the big penthouse in New York, but it continues to be an interesting signal. If you think Twinkies last forever, man, you ought to be in this one. $11 on November 8th for TWNK. $11 at 2.6 million shares. Yesterday, you got into that with 1.5 million shares. Today, you kind of got in there and spiked below that low on just 550,000 shares. So this looks like it may be finding some support. Maybe people are going to get back into did. Okay. And what else do we have? Sage Therapeutics. This one gapped up on the 7th of December 2017 with 8.4 million shares. It's been kind of doing some consolidation work out here. The first low test of that gap higher was April 6 at 139.16, 450,000 shares. You got a little bit more lately. It spiked down with 790,000 shares on the 25th of last month. Went sideways for 4 days. It's down lower today, but just 215,000 shares. You know, about 120 would be a fairly huge buy on this. I don't know if it's ever going to get back there. Today's low volume tells you that this thing's at a make or break. It's either going to hold here or go 15 bucks lower. So your risk reward is fairly good in that. On a shorter term basis, Royal Bank of Canada. Let's go back a little farther here. Maybe this is the one here. Back up against the February 26th high at 79.99. That had about 1 million shares, a little less than 1 million shares. Went through it with 1.33 million shares. Where's that? It's in here somewhere. But rolling back in. So not enough juice to get that one out. Another one testing previous lows on lighter volume is Public Storage. $201.05 for this August 2nd low. And like I said, 2 million shares on that one. Went through it with half the volume at 940,000 shares on September 27th. It's gone and done nothing but sideways since. 937 shares, 640,000 shares yesterday. Today, just a little under 300,000 shares. So volume not expanding as these things come back and test the previous lows. We talked about Polaris yesterday, wanted to follow up on it today. Another candle that looks like this could be some kind of low, got to 98.29. It closed back above 101, puts this right back into the trading range. And that would be from here to 115, which is halfway into this gap that came on the 25th of July. PetsMed Express, I think we talked about this one maybe Monday. Also testing its previous low, May 8th, $31.29, 1.6 million shares. Today going through it with 400,000 shares so far. So kind of light volume so far in that one. Okay. And what else do we have? Pioneer Energy Services, PES. This hadn't quite gotten to it, but it's got kind of close to this $2.40 low. If you're playing the pennies, volume has kind of decreased over the last, I don't know, 3-4 weeks as this thing's kind of gone sideways. A couple of days ago, spiked down to 275, which gets you back into that candle for March 28th. And just a light volume. That one's probably not the better one of the bunch. What else do we have? Okay. Interestingly enough, this one does look like it's starting to break down. This is Navarro's Maritime Holdings. A bunch of these stocks in the dry shippers were down on light volume the last couple of days. Most of them look like they're headed lower, though. Yeah, Twinkie is one that is suspect, by the way. I may have not said that enough. Okay, if you were thinking about going Netflix, about 390 is where you would look at it. This one has been coming back up to fill this gap down that goes back to the 17th of July. This came down with 58.4 million shares back then. Last handful of days as we've come back and filled that gap have been 13, 7, 7, 8, 6.5 so far today. So you are getting back into some of these stocks like Netflix with some resistance. And I think that's where we see a lot of the people shorting right now is certainly that. Okay, now MB Financial gapped up on May 21st, did so with 8.4 million shares, tried to get back into that gap area with a low on July 19th with 900,000 shares. A couple of days ago, you saw 54.64 on just 560,000 shares. Yesterday, 490. Today, just 250. So I'm not seeing a lot of volume expand at these lows in a lot of these stocks. We're going to go through a bunch more here to give you a little idea of some of them that are coming back on light volume. We'll be back in a minute.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks. Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. If you'd like to be the bank and get the type of interest they receive instead of the low interest rates they give to clients, then I have an investment you may want to take a look at. I'm offering 4-year secured first mortgages on buildable city lots in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment can be anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000 per buildable city lot. The interest paid is 7% per year, paid monthly. Depending on the investment, the income per month per lot ranged from $175 for a $30,000 investment to $437.50 for a $75,000 investment. If you are in the CD market, you want to look at this investment. St. Petersburg is located in Pinellas County, which is the densest county in Florida. If you're looking for an investment with your principal intact that pays a good interest rate, this may be for you. The supply is limited, so act now. For more information on these secured first mortgage opportunities, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190. 9190.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we're back. LSI Corporation, of course, in the semiconductor space, making a test of the August 1st low, $93.14, 600,000 shares. Yesterday, you had 350,000 shares. You broke that previous low today, but just 200,000 shares so far. So got to look at that being tested with about half of the volume. We brought up LNG also, that this had gone above its previous high on lighter volume, 4 million shares on June 22nd, $69.50. That's the 4 million shares. But the best you could get was about 2.5 million shares on the 26th of September. Today, you went up to 71.03, and this thing is kind of rotated back into the trading range. You know, if you could get this at about $65 where this gap is, that may be the next place where this thing might come back down to and then start maybe a bigger ABC higher if natural gas continues to do what's going on. Let's see if this is something a longer term. No. Let's see. Nope. This one kind of interests me. It's Lion Biotech. Don't know much about it, but I did look at the chart this morning. Gap up goes back to the January 22nd when this thing gapped up on 1.66 million shares. You're into this thing with about 1 million shares yesterday, so about 600,000 share lights. Today, just 446,000 shares. So you had a little more volume on the way down. I wouldn't be buying it, but it could consolidate out. But certainly, as a lot of people are looking for stocks, and normally if the market's going down, the stocks that are already at lows are starting to blow out lows with higher volume, which is one of the other things that I look at. In Novo Pharmaceuticals, INO, this January 23rd high had 7 million shares. You got into that with 4 million shares on the top side. It's come back into that trading range today. IIN, Intracon, looks like it wants to come back to this gap up on July 26th. That had 610,000 shares. Tried to get into it with 418,000 shares on September 17th. Back into it yesterday with just a little less than 300,000 shares and a little candle out here that looks quite promising. Energy off this recent September 22nd high does look nice too. Let's go to the IBB. Okay. This is back into the trading range. Volume hasn't been all that bad at these highs. January 29th, 119.14, 2.6 million shares. Got into that yesterday with 1.9 million shares. So what, 700,000 shares light, a little bit back into this trading range today. Not the end of the world, but certainly needs some more volume to get to those highs. You had a chance back in late August, but it kind of pulled back. I don't see, a lot of volume in today. It doesn't look like everybody's running to get out of the IBB, but does look like it's hit some kind of resistance. Little gap up today in the IAU, but not the kind of volume you would like to see. About 15 million shares on this August 28th high at 1164. The Gomax Gold Trust up today with 9.2 million shares so far, going into that candle that had 15. HSIC, which is Henry Schein, looks like this thing's coming up to this gap. Hadn't quite got there. I thought maybe it might get here today at 90 bucks. But it's kind of going sideways. If the market did roll, there's a handful of stocks that do look rather weak at highs, but not all of them. Gentex Corporation, GNTX. This is testing the $21.30 low, July 25th. $21.30, 3.66 million shares. Into it with 2 million shares yesterday. Today, just 834,000 shares. So a lot of these look like they could pop right back into the trading range that have rotated much lower over the last few months as the indexes have gone higher. Flextronics, another one in the semi space, actually manufacturing of electronic components, out testing this huge gap down from April 27th. That gap down had 35.7 million shares at 1293. Spiked below it on a little less than 7 million shares on the 28th of September. Went higher on 3.8 million shares the next day. Today, just 1.25 million shares. So even though these things maybe even came down with a little bit more volume, it kind of looks like the market wants to bounce a bit in a lot of these. And if that bounces like light energy the next time down, is when you think that they would break out the bottoms of what's going on. I don't see much in that one. CSLT. Gaslight Health. I don't see anything in that one either. CFL. Okay. Center State Banks. Had a couple of banks show up today. Was looking at it. August 1st is low on this one. CSFL. August 1st, 2767, 700,000 shares. Yesterday, as it broke through it, you had 426,000 shares. Today, just 218,000 shares. So breaking lows, but volume not picking up. To Cirrus Logic, that one's kind of on a smaller time scale. CRTO, this company is testing its 3.7 million share low of September 7th over the last couple of days. Hasn't quite broken that low. This company is big in ad sales in Europe, and I suspect being tarred with a rather wide brush that everybody is in the digital advertising business. When that blows over, this may be a very interesting play, especially with the way that they're taxing U.S., Google, Facebook, and the rest of the bunch. This one may have a decided advantage in the fact that they're the home team and may do much better. Anyway, volume very light today, 362,000 shares compared to 900,000 shares yesterday, and the 3.77 million share low September 7th. CRC, take a quick look at that one. California Resources, this one's topping off and it has a light volume. You did have a nice volume run back here on 6.2 million shares on the 24th of September as it started to get into this peak of July 10th. But you need 2.5 million shares. Last 3 days, 1.8 million shares, 1.2 million shares. Today, 900,000 shares. So we'll be back in.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And as we check in with the Mr. Market as we get to the end of the day, volume is pretty good today. Almost 4.8 billion shares as we get into the last segment. So probably 7.5 billion shares today. And of course, depending on which side of the market you're on, it's not lower on the S&P, certainly not lower on the Dow, certainly lower on the NASDAQ, and certainly lower on the Russell. So a little bit for everybody, kind of a Rorschach test about what's going on in the market. We will continue to keep an eye on this throughout the close, but of course, fund buying in effect. So the last 30 minutes of the day, probably the most important, and see whether this market can move higher. If it can't, if we continue to sell off throughout the day, that is a fairly dark cloud over the market in that it can't get going into fund buying. There was actually more money coming in this month, which would also tell you something. I think a lot of people very nervous, especially about the headline risk of a lot. Some people saying that it's time to sell the news of the NAFTA, the new NAFTA agreement. But again, I see a lot of stocks not breaking down with a lot of volume. Some of these things finding some lows. And one of the ones that did kind of break lower today, but had been on light volume, was one of the ones that first kind of turned around. That was Beacon Roofing. This did break through the lows of 2.3 million shares going back to August 13th. Broke through it with 1.3 million shares yesterday. Today, 1.2 or 3 million shares. Looks like this thing could get back into the trading range at 35, and maybe that some kind of floor coming in on housing. Anyway, we went through a bunch of stocks today. We'll try to go through a great deal more tomorrow. As always, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.